Hi there guys, and welcome to another Train Sim World video. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you, this is not my first look at this. Not because I'm part of some elitist club, or because I've had a preview of it or anything like that. No, it's because I've already done a video of it. And I'm not going to release that video. The reason I'm not going to release that video is because I'm just going from work. I was quite angry. I'd been busy, and I was just sorely disappointed. Now, usually my first look videos, I like them to be raw. I like them to be my first look. But I actually, I've streamed it since. I've just finished my live stream. I couldn't actually bring myself to release the video I did first time round, because I was probably, if anything, led by emotion too much, and it probably wouldn't have been the fairest review. So I'm not going to call this one a first look. This is going to be a review. Now, I'm going to do my best to point out the bits that I really like first, and then I will go into the bits that I already know do my head in. Alright? Also, before we start, this isn't, and the things I will say, I don't think are going to be necessarily the guys that actually worked on this fault. Right? It's not going to be your Mr. Pedalston, because I know that he wants this to be as good as it can be. Right? And I know there are some really decent guys at DTG that really want this to be the future train simulation and really want things to be correct and right. That's why they have listened to the feedback when it comes to driving some of the trains. That's cool. And they have. I'll tell you that now. It's one of the plus points. Driving the 47 is beautiful. Let's just get into it. And I can go through the bits while I'm there. I'm getting to the point where I'm already a bit sort of talked out by it. But most of my first video was me not talking, really, to be honest with you. I was just sort of, my jaw was at the floor. Let's start with the 09, right? Let's start with the 09. Now, I'm not going to go into the weather stuff. We all know that as much as the snow looks quite nice on the 47 on this, the trees are still summer trees with snow on them. It doesn't actually change the look of the route too much. It just covers everything in white. It's pretty. It is pretty, but it just looks odd. It doesn't look right. That's not fixed. But that's been there since CSX Heavy Haul. That's important. I'm going to be referring back to the previous DLCs we've had, okay, of Train Sim World. I'm going to look at the progression, or actually the word I'm actually looking for really is consistency. Okay, consistency. It's what we like. Most of us that like trains like things to stay the same, don't we? Got to admit, we like a bit of adventure, but realistically we like a bit of routine. It's that sort of spectrum, isn't it? It's not me stereotyping, I promise. Let's do this one. Right? It's got some coaches. It's a bit of a passenger run. I like the idea of that. Not very often you ever get an 09 or anything on. Well, it's in the evening as well. Oh. Got a nice second man there. On the right hand side, but I suppose when we're going backwards, this is the left, isn't it? So we are on the left, really, when we're looking backwards. Let's go out and we'll have a little look around. While we're out here, we'll turn our lights on. It's this side, I think, is where we need to put on. No, that side. Step. I don't know if you have to actually go out to on 08s and 09s and actually turn the lights on from the outside. I don't know. I'm guessing you probably do. So even in this lighting, what can we actually say? Well, we can say that it's very pretty, can't we? It's very clean, don't get me wrong, but I quite like that. It's a gala. They've cleaned it up especially for it. It's very, very pretty. So it looks good. It looks good. The Mark 1s. Apart from having a bit of a delay on opening the doors, I've got no real issue with. I quite like the interior of these. I think they capture it well. You can sort of smell them as you're walking through, can't you? You can sort of smell it. What I haven't just thought about is, can you open the... No, I suppose that would be a lot to fit in. I won't. But to be able to open them, that would be quite cool. The ventilators. Oh yeah, look, the brake compartment, great. Now I thought I was really excited when I saw this, and you could get in it and that. I thought wicked. So what can we do in here? So we can turn the light on, all right? Which is a bit bright, but it's there. We have a little seat in the guards compartment. It's lovely. Even open the window in here. Can't stick your head out, but you can open it. Got your handbrake. It's handy. Put that on, take that off. One turn. It's more than that, really, isn't it? But you can't test the brake or use the emergency brake, which I find a little bit irritating, should we say, or a little bit sort of, I don't know. I'd have liked to have seen that work. Okay, exterior wise, this side, this sort of top of them and everything is very nice. I'll show you the bogies in a minute. I'm not massively keen on those, but everything else looks pretty nice. No real complaints there. He says, I want to come out of crouching, thank you. Let's close that off. Right, let's get the thing moving, shall we? Close the door. Let's get those brakes off. Takes a little while, like it would do. We're nearly there. Just equalising up now. And there we go, moving off. So, one feature we'll show you before we'll drive a train a lot, but I can show you this feature now. Do excuse this for a second. So it's pretty. So it's pretty. The route, what can I say? Again, I quite like that. Quite like that a lot. It's nice to see some little additions, but then there's also some. It gets a bit samey. And I bet the route probably is a bit samey in real life anyway. So I'm not going to be too critical on that. So I listened to the 350 horsepower engine that these had. Was it 350 these had or something like that? Nice crossing that level crossing. Tell you what would be nice though, sort of keep the door open there, couldn't we? And have a little know how far we can get out without falling out though. Yeah. Right, that's pretty good, isn't it? We like that. Let's give it the beans. So you notice, let's open that other window, see if we can get some, oh no we can't because it's all the way over there, but we'll get some sound, some of that nice sound going on, right? Close it up, it goes away. Next thing we'll have a little look at, look. That's a bit of clag, that, isn't it? That's not brilliant, but I think it's an improvement on, slight improvement on Great Western Express, I suppose. Or it suits, maybe it just suits the 09 more, maybe it's the same as what's on the 43. It just suits it a bit better. And this lighting, I mean, look at that. This brings me on to one of my other things. To me, this doesn't sound like an 09. That does look very pretty with that sun beating down that side there, though, doesn't it? It doesn't really sound like an 08 or an 09 to me. The horn, it's quite badly loomed, it's very flat. No depth to the sounds. It's one of my big gripes with this. I mean, if you were this close to an 08. Why it gets quiet when you get close to it. Something I've just noticed actually. It'll be pretty loud. It's pretty loud. It doesn't quite sound like that. The 08's got quite a distinctive noise. So this brings me to one of my next things, and I think this is something to do with why we don't have a steam train here in Trainsim World. Can you imagine sort of 6-foot diameter wheels that are spoked, and that motion flow you're going to get on those? Maybe one of the reasons why we're not getting it. Because you can kind of imagine what it would look like, wouldn't it? It'd be a big blurry mess. That's fair enough. They haven't got to the bottom of that yet. That's why they've done it. Fair play. It does still look very nice if you sort of excuse the motion blur stuff. Sound pipes. Distinct lack of traction motors underneath, but I'm not going to pick up on that too much. You guys will work that out for yourself. But I mean, that's very pretty, isn't it? So yeah, all in all, functionality in the Bronc is quite nice. I mean, sorry, I should say my seat there really. If we look, that's the cab light on. We've got sanders. So I put those on earlier to have a look when we were down at the wheels to see. Didn't seem to be animated with anything there, so we'll turn them off. Magic brake plunger works. This is a nice little touch. These gauges here, if you click them, it swings around to what side you want, doesn't it? I really like that. You've got your independent brake and everything all modelled. It's basic for what it is. Because the 08s and 09s are pretty basic. They are what they are. What would I like to have seen different in this? I'd have liked to have seen the windows being able to be opened. On the front, that was going to be quite nice. Just like in CSX Heavy Haul, I'd like to have seen these cupboards. That sort of thing. Hot plate, I don't know if you can turn the hot plate on or not. Oh! I quite like that for its grotesqueness. Look at the detail in the eyes, man. You wonder why some people are getting like 10 FPS off this game. Straight air brake, all of that, all the handles are in the right places. It all looks jolly nice, doesn't it? I like it. I like it. Okay. we've had a look at the 08. Let's bring it to a stop. I'm just going to have a quick look down the train. There's a feature I want to show you that I quite like. So that's that us uncoupled. Right. You see now we've got a short train with just us. We can brakes come off an awful lot quicker. So you see here, we've got the Buckeye and we've had it down for hook, but pick it up and you've got a Buckeye. I like that. I do actually like that. I was thinking that might mean we could be maybe a bit of a Mark 1 rail tour with 66 and Great Western Express or anything like that. That's still using trains on different routes. I don't know if that's even going to be possible soon. I'm hoping it is. I don't know what DTG have said on that. But anyway, these are vacuum braked anyway. The 66 doesn't have it. These, of course, are dual braked. This one even has the high level ones as well. So that's enough of the 09. That's enough of the 09. Let's have a look at 47. Now, if I'm honest, I try not to get too excited about Train Sim World releases, but when I knew this was going to be a 47, I was like, yeah. The older I've got, the more I've fallen in love with them. And since the Ed Fisk, the 47-7 from the first generation pack, I've fallen for a 47. To be honest with you, I've fallen for a 47. So we'll do a similar sort of thing. We'll do a similar. I can't remember what end of the right line I started at. I'll go for that. All right, Peter. Now, we'll start on the outside of the 47 again. I can't lie, I really like it. I really like the 47 in this. I think they've captured it nicely. I think the shape looks about right. The only bit I'm not 100% maybe is how steep this is, but again, it's nitpicking if I'm honest. I quite like it. Now, I was thinking it was going to be a very classic diesel, but it's not. They've kept it sort of 47-7 specs. It's got NRN aerials. It's got an NRN actually inside it. You have got a battery isolation switch up here. You've got your brake selector as well. I haven't actually tried messing about with it yet. Unfortunately, and it does sadden me to say, you still can't go for a little wander into the engine room and have a look. I'd like to have seen that. By now, I'd have liked to have seen that. Things I do like in here, especially, is the AWS, and we have the DSD. Even though this route doesn't have AWS. I don't actually get what I'm meant to be doing. Am I supposed to be in this cab, or am I meant to be in the other cab? No, I want to close the door. filled up, and we're heading that way. We'll go to this game. We'll leave Peter back there. Actually, you know what? We'll drive with that door open, shall we? Let's drive with that door open. Gives us a bit of that exterior engine sound, doesn't it? Right. So let's leave it in there. Let's get our headlights on. Let's have our head code lights on and our test lights, of course. Okay. Just waiting for our brakes to come off. Alan, you idiot. Stick it in forward. This is nice hearing that sort of engine rev. Oh. So just enjoy my engine revving up. My doors are closed. I know what I'll do to hear the sound of that engine. I'll open the windows, because you know, even trains from 2018, you can open the windows. You hear the engine difference. Oh, and on the CSX Heavy Haul, Great Western Express. Must have some sort of super duper sound force field. Now you're going to start seeing my problem. Okay, this is my issue. This 47 drives beautifully. It drives beautifully. It don't sound great. Alright, I could get over that if I could open that window and hear a different sound set. I could get over it. Alright, it'll do. I could get over the really badly looped horn. And then we could look at something like, oh, can't turn the train heat on. Maybe that's been isolated. Do you know, it's Heritage Railway anyway. Demister. Oh yeah, let's turn that on. Oh no, can't do that. Cab heater. You know, when you're driving in the winter and you want that immersion in the game. Yeah, that doesn't work either. I like the bit you can come up here and we can get to the AWS and the DSD. That's a nice touch. Back wall with brake selector and the battery isolation switches. Wasn't quite sure about this view, but hey, that's quite nice. It's quite a nice view. You can sort of get and fiddle. Oh, I know what we could do. Oh right, so yeah, no foot warmer, no cab heater, tail lights we can turn on and off, demister, desk lights, train classification says head code box, fire alarm test, negative, lamp test, negative. Let's get a bit more power going on because we're struggling on this gradient a bit here. DSD works. No, I can unisolate that and do that like I showed you earlier. Stop out here, let's hop into the second man side. What do we have? Alright, hot plate switch. No. DSD hold button. Yeah, got that. Horn. Yeah, windscreen wiper. So do you remember the 47.7 that DTG released? And it was speed variable on the windscreen wiper. Well, this one isn't. And I just spoke to the guy that did that on my stream, and he said, "Oh no, I got it wrong. It isn't. It's not to do with proportional power, and it doesn't change how fast the windscreen wipers are going." Again, that's not true. At least for some of them. It might have been that these were retrofitted with electric motors that just did what they were told. I don't know. But the 47 drivers I spoke to. Oh, right. So you can go into second man. Focus. There we go. And you can sit in this chair now. That's quite good. So you can sort of be the guard again. The light doesn't work, mind. But you can put the handbrake on. It's quite a nice little touch as the second man, isn't it? Let's give it the beans a bit, and we'll tell you what we'll do. Let me take that power right off. Let's get all the way back up to the loco, right? Let's find that beautiful sweet spot on that exhaust, yeah? Let's go for the clag. Diesel gala. Okay, I'm gonna get my soapbox a bit here. Diesel galas tend to be visited by a few different groups of people. I'm not going to get into stereotyping, but you get the guys that are hanging out your windows, giving it all of this, all right? And they're listening to the thrash. They're looking at the clag. I love a bit of thrash. I love the sound of it. I do like seeing a bit of clag as well. Bit of a child in me, but anyway. Two things you really go for. What's your one thing when you're in that coach and you've got a 47 in front of you, and you're a big fan of 47s, what do you like doing? You like sticking your head near that window and hearing that 47 under a bit of load. You know, like that one thing that reserved railway drivers I think are better than any mainline driver at, and that is getting that noise but still only doing 25. It's a disappointment. It's infuriating, actually, to the point where it really did annoy me, and that's why I couldn't release the first video. Here we have something where they have fixed, right, some of my biggest bugbears with the previous releases of Train Sim World, about not quite feeling like you were driving the train, dodgy ammeters, not being able to really trust your instruments, everything like that. And then they've just broken things that worked. I mean, come on, yeah? Fair enough, the clag was awful on the 66. It was awful. But the Gronk ones don't look terrible. Why is it not here? And you're telling it... If somebody comes back and says, oh, we're DTG, we missed that. It was meant to be there, but we missed it. Really? Okay, so none of you came outside the train and revved it up and went, oh, something's missing there. Next thing, right? On this train that drives very nicely. I mean, it powers and brakes beautifully. .3% uphill gradient. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what's that? A few hundred tons anyway, yeah? Loaded. What's my brake at? 32%. Can we leave it at that and do this? Yeah, okay. So we'll leave our brake on. Just to let the amps build, right? load regulator sort itself out. Okay, right up there, isn't it? Brakes off. 7,000 amps, and this thing didn't wheel slip. On a 1.3% uphill gradient with a train load of a few hundred tons. Not even one judder. Not even that first noise that they do sometimes. It's not there. It's not there. There is no wheel slip. Cab sway. So, having previously just had some quite a whole 12 hours pretty much experience of preserved railways and cab rides and preserved railways, it was one of the things that really struck me about being in the cab of a real train was actually how much cab sway there was, even at relatively low speed. This 47 has the world's best suspension. It doesn't jump, so you get in that thud noise. Every time you get that thud noise, that cab would move and you'd feel it in that seat. Now, whereas you can't feel it, even in Train Sim 2018, you can see it. And you go over a set of points and it rocks, even though it's not, it's a bit sort of gangly on 2018, but it gives you the sensation of movement. This doesn't, it does sway, but when we're up at like 90, and even then it is like a boat on the calmest sea you've ever been on. And yeah, you might be going, Alan, how have we done 90 on a preserved line that can only do 25? We can't derail. Now, I don't want a game where I'm just going to go, oh, I'm going to thrash it until it crashes. There's people out there do crash compilations, and those guys have got like millions of views, right? Train Sim 2018 crash compilation. 3, 4, 5, 6 million views. That ain't my style. That ain't my style. But what I do want to know is, see if I come into a bend a bit quick and I haven't kept an eye on my speed. That train tells me, it jolts me, it looks a bit funny, acts a bit differently, that I'm doing something wrong. It gives me feedback. This thing doesn't. That was an AWS ramp. That key for that. Ah, that must be in the other cab. Must be on. I was supposed to stop here anyway. Oh, does that mean I'm going to spat? Yeah, it does. It's going to end me anyway. Right, so what we're going to do... We're going to look just briefly at the scenarios. We'll show you what scenarios it comes with. So you've got this preparation work, you've got to the beach, you've got Minehead Shunter Part 1, Minehead Shunter Part 2, Land Cruise, and finishing up. So you've got some fair length scenarios on this, right? If you're happy doing for 25 mile an hour. Now you could do 95 on this route and you're not going to come off the track. There's nothing stopping you doing that apart from not braking in time for spats, which is what my videos are famous for anyway. To sum this up, I think what we should do is a bit of like passenger mode. Okay, for a summer clear. Let's start there. Oh, I didn't really want it to be dark. Can they give us a light or a torch in this sometime? God, it's like being in Africa. Like out in the middle of Sahara. I do like the lighting on those though. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. I haven't done it. I didn't mean to do it in dark. I haven't done it in dark yet. But hey. I actually can't see anything at all. You can see more than I can. Let's use an OBS now. What I want to check while we've got it dark. I was going to near enough end this here, but I'm not going to now. Let's put the tail lights on as well and go and see what it looks like. Because I bet that looked quite smart with the cab light on. Oh, see now that does look nice, doesn't it? Do I not put the tail lights on as well? Yeah, I did. Okay. Let's not do it in dark. That's not what we wanted to do anyway. We wanted to do it in daylight. Spring clear, fine. Time of day. $10:15. Same place. Because this is something else I want to show you. Because this is quite pretty here. I've just missed that train. It's quite pretty. You know, with the water tower. The turntable. Can we move the turntable? We can move the turntable. Something we could do in CSX Heavy Haul, wouldn't it? Or did I go too fast and that's why I locked up, did it? They're meant to be slightly proportional, is that what it is? Yeah, that doesn't know what it's doing, does it? It seems to know what it's doing when I'm not in control of it. It's just nice to see some cars. Again, they are static, which was one of my bugbears of rapid transit. It's nice to see some people walking around. We've had that throughout, basically, apart from CSX Heavy Haul. This brings me on to my next bit, and this is these buildings. Now, I know if you're on my page, you'll have seen there was a bit of a cartoony word being battered about that was very interesting, but it also upset a few people. Now, I'm not going to lie, some of this looks a little bit cartoony. What do I mean by cartoony? It looks animated. It looks like a a drawing of something, not a real thing. And why can't we have a look in some sheds? Why can't I see in those windows, even if it was just something basic? Why can't I open those shed doors? All in all, what do I think of this? I'm disappointed. Actually, I am disappointed. There are things we have in Great Western Express, Rapid Transit, North East Corridor, CSX that we don't have in this. Also, this hasn't got the complexities of basically any of the other routes that they've done that I can work out. There's a very basic, the 7-4 signalling system. Yeah, okay, each one of those must take a bit of modelling and everything like that. I get that. But as far as I can see, so far, there isn't a complex in-cab signalling system like is in NEC. Which is another thing that bugs me, because surely that is basically the same implementation as ATP. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some sort of basic differences, but we still haven't seen ATP done for Great Western Express, have we? We've seen the improvements on the driving of the handling of the trains. I've got to go and give that a go myself, to be fair. I just think maybe I overhyped it. Maybe I overhyped it in my own head. I was expecting to see something to turn around and go, yeah, come on, they've nailed these locos now. They've got it. They've got these locos. And they have. They've nailed a bit of the driving of it. They've nailed how it pulls away. They've nailed how the power is applied and pulled off. They've nailed braking's quite nice, even on fat brakes. But it still doesn't wheel slip. There's still no challenge to driving it. There's still no feeling. There's no feedback. The sounds. I mean, come on, DTG. You've been doing this long enough now. Sort the sounds out. Sort the sounds out. The sounds are better on CSX than they are on this. CSX, I could go and open up panels halfway down the body side. I could push the governor when the train was moving and make the engine rev more. Even though it was American, and that, American isn't really my thing. It still had more to do. Cab functionality, fuse boxes. You could pull fuses out. You could blade switches that you could turn. And I can't even look in the engine room on a 47. Now, I don't know what this is. Is this Xboxification, I suppose? Is it being dumbed down? Is it being dumbed down? There's cab variations in 47s, so from the number 1 end to the number 2 end. So the AWS works. That's nice. That's nice. So maybe there is some AWS in this route I haven't seen. Deflated is what I am. I had high hopes for this. I had high hopes for this. I thought it's a small route. I mean, there's a lot of asset reusage, so it should just be sort of a bit easier to build. I don't know, maybe I just don't understand the way it's done. What can I say? What can I say? Right, $14.99. At $14.99, regardless of whether I think this is a finished product or not, it's not expensive. Nope, it's not expensive. When it comes down to actually driving the Loco, the 09 is nice. The 09 is a nice bit of kit. It's a nice little thing, that is. I'm not a massive fan of shunters, but I enjoy driving that. It's very... It's not real quirks to it. You'll learn it, you'll get there with it. The 47. Now this is probably where the disappointment came for me the most. When the 47, it looks beautiful. I mean, you cannot fault that thing. It looks stunning. The cab just lacks functionality. It just lacks that sort of Train Sim World-esque that we've sort of come to know. Little switches that do everything. Every switch you can press, touch, pull, push, do what you want with. It hasn't even got some of the stuff that the 47.7 in Train Sim 2018 has. The sound is getting to a point where it's getting to be unforgivable. Okay, but to tell you what is now at the point where I think someone somewhere in DTG, and I don't think this is your Matt Pedalsons, and I don't think this is you guys who are making these trains or putting the time and effort in, even though they're being paid, putting the time and effort in and stamping their name on something. This has got to come from higher up. Who is in charge of consistency? If in the same DLC you've got two locos that have a completely different feature set, right? And I'm talking not feature sets as in that's a Coco and that's a 040, 060. I mean, what is going on with the sounds of the windows? Why can't I have the doors open on the 47 while I'm driving along? The only thing that is pretty consistent between the two of them is that they drive really well and that the sounds aren't brilliant. I mean, they're not terrible. The horns are really badly looped. That again is something you can sort out. There's lots of third-party guys out there that have nailed that. Hire them in to do your sounds. I was just expecting this to be the second British incarnation of Train Sim World. Just to maybe, I was really looking forward to getting in going, I love this. I love this. This is what I want. And it just didn't grab me. I'm sorry. And I feel bad that it hasn't grabbed me. I will still drive this 47. But there's not much to learn on it, is there? I don't need to look at my amps and watch if I go over 1,000 amps with 4 coaches or I go over 2,000 amps with no coaches. It's not going to make a difference. If I push the button, it's going to go, and it's just going to go, and if I push the brake, it's going to stop. It might stop a bit slower. Brakes might come off a bit slower when I've got more carriages on, but my power application isn't any different, is it? Might pull away a bit slower, but it's not going to wheel slip. I'm not going to come out of a station on a nice gradient thinking, right, I've really got to balance my brakes and my power now to make sure I don't wheel slip or I don't pull away or I don't overload the traction motors. Oh, that's right, because you can't. Come on. Come on. It's dumbed down, I feel. And I mean, how much have we all pumped into Train Sim World now? Shy of 100 quid? For a game that hasn't got stuff fixed from the first, from its beta. I don't want to see Train Sim World die like Flight Sim World has. This has masses of potential. What I want is some honesty. What I want is some actual honesty from DTG. Where is this going? Where is the future for this? Why aren't we seeing the editor. Why haven't third-party devs got their hands on this yet? Why does my 47, when it opens the windows, doesn't work? Why does my clag not appear? Why is the clag so poor on the 66? Why is the 08s not too bad? Do you really think somebody looked at that and went, yeah, it's finished, send it out? Why doesn't it have wheel slip? Why can't it derail? I don't want to use the arcadey word, because it's not really, to a point. Dumbed down, yes. Is this as in-depth simulation as CSX Heavy Haul? No. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. I mean, don't get me wrong, the American locos, when you're double heading and all that and working out all the double heading settings, I'm probably a more complex beast. I don't know. I will still support Train Sim World, but do I think I'll get my hopes up again? Not for a while. Not for a while. Am I just wasting my money? I hope not, but I'll take the gamble. I will take the gamble. Fingers crossed it pays off, eh? Do I recommend you go and buy this? That's the question I always ask at the end of these first little videos. For $14.99, it's up to you. It's up to you. If you're new to Train Sim World and you've wanted a couple of heritage diesels, or it's not even a heritage 47 really, is it? I mean, the mainline not that long ago. Yeah, go and buy it. Go and buy it. If you're looking for an upgrade or something to have changed, or there to be some sort of push forward from Great Western Express or NEC or Rapid Transit or even CSX Heavy Haul, you'll be sadly mistaken, and I suggest you don't, because then you'll feel like I do. It's not a particularly nice feeling. Yeah, it's only a game. It's also partly my livelihood. This is my future. This is the future of my YouTube channel. This is the future of my interaction with you guys. It's up to you. It's up to you. Not going to give you a yes or no on that one. Unless you're new to Train Sim World totally and this is what you've wanted, then go for it. Do I think you can get a better level of simulation on some of the other Train Sim World ones? Yes. Do I think you can probably still get a better simulation out of Train Sim 2018? It might not look as pretty, but definitely. Would it actually work out any cheaper, mind you? No. No, this would actually be cheaper. That's the strange thing about it. And on that note, guys, I'm going to end this video because I've been babbling on for long enough. It's nearly an hour's worth of video for this, so it's now 20 to 1 in the morning, and I need my bed because I've got work in the morning. So, all the best, guys. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Please let me know what you think down below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you've also subscribed and you're not getting my videos pop up when they arrive, please do hit that little bell button. I know I sound like some of those really irritating YouTubers, but it does help me, and it also stops you guys going, you haven't released a video in weeks. And I'm going, yeah, I haven't, mate. It's been 3 up. Oh, I didn't see them. Head over to the Facebook group for any tech support questions and just for some general chit chat and a bit of a giggle. Sometimes it's pure eye, but the rest of the time it's actually pretty good. So yeah, all the best.